This video here is all about powers, so learning about powers and what they mean in regards to our mathematical understanding. So our learning goal today is that you need to know that repeated multiplication can be written in a simplified expression through the use of powers. So you know the definition of that by the end. Powers are used to write expressions in simplified form, and we'll make sure you write down the definition as we get to that. And you also need to be able to, so at the end of this, you should be able to write basic numerals in index form, expand index form to basic numerals, and also evaluate expressions with powers in them. And we'll be doing plenty of examples as we go through this task. So first off, we're going to look at the definition. So what is a power? And I'll get you to write this down. Now the power of a number says how many times you use the number in a multiplication. It is written as a small number, as you can see, to the right and above the base number. So we've got some keywords here. So we've got power and we've got base number. So what that looks like here in this example is that you have the base number, then you have the index number or the exponent, which we'll use later, and then what you do is you can calculate from there. So it's simplifying a repeated multiplication. So for example, in this case, 8 to the power of 2 is the same as 8 times 8. Or you use that number, you use the base number 2 times, which equals 64. So what I'll also get you to do is just draw this example down in your books. So it's really, again, understanding that the base number is the big number that you have at the bottom. The index number is the smaller one to the upper right of that number. And then what you get usually is your basic numeral or your answer. So if you know these key terms, it's really going to help you as we go through. So what we're going to do here is a couple of examples, and you've got to make sure you understand the difference between these two. So what we're going to do is that we need to be able to make sure, as it says in our learning goal, that we can write in index form, and then we can also write in expanded form. So what we want to do here is we want to simplify these following expressions, and we want to put them in index form. So index form is simply this. So putting it using the power and making it simplified instead of having repeated multiplication, as it is the case here, 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. Instead of doing that, we write that in index form so it's more simplified. So what you first do, you write the base number. So you write whatever the number is that is being multiplied, write that as a base number, and then simply count how many times it's being multiplied. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this will be 5 to the power of 6. That's how you write that in index form. And even if you have different numbers, you can write that one as well. So we'll use B here. We have 3 times 3 times 2 times 3 times 2 times 3. So again, how this would be written is, let's start with 3. So we'll use 3 as our base number. How many times is 3 multiplied? 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's multiplied 4 times. So that's what you put as your power. And then you're going to times that by, so we also have 2 in here. So that is our base number. And how many times is 2 multiplied? 1, 2. So 2 is squared, which means to the power of 2. So that's what index form. It means simplifying these big sums down into a smaller form. So you have the base number and then you give it the index above that, or the power above that. Now what about if we look over to this side here, we're going to write the following in expanded form. So expanded form is basically the opposite to index form, where we turn these index forms into the expanded or repeated multiplication. So first question here, A, we have 2 to the power of 4. So our base number is 2. So that's going to be 2 times 2 times 2, because we're doing this 4 times. Now notice here in the question it says expand and evaluate. Now evaluate means you need to solve the problem, you need to answer that question. So we should be able to do an easy calculation here. So 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. So we've evaluated this answer and we get 2 to the power of 4 is 16. So what we want to do here is we'll do B as our final example, and then you can start doing some work on your own. So we've got 2 to the power of 3 times 5 to the power of 2, or 2 squared. So write it in expanded form first. So that means 2 to the power of 3. So we're going to do this 3 times 5 squared. And then we can simply evaluate this answer here. So 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. Then we have 5 times 5 is 25. We just calculate 8 times 25, which should be, I know that 25 times 4 equals 100, so times 8 will be 200. 100. So we've expanded and we've evaluated to get our answer. So make sure you know the difference between index form, expanded form, and also how we set out our exponents or our power numbers. So you have a base number, index number, and you get the answer as a basic numeral. Thanks guys.